Hello budget people and welcome back to my channel. I'm She's on a Budget and today we are going to create our first zero-based budget for the month of January. Okay, so as you can see, I have got my planner out today. I'm using the Erin Condren planner. It's a planner that I bought from the USA, from the US. Saying it wrong, from the United States of America, basically. It did cost a little bit of money to ship it over, but I think it will be worthwhile. I do not like writing in diaries or planners really, because I hate making mistakes, and then I tend to either put a load of Tipp-Ex in it or I end up throwing it away. I know it sounds really wasteful, but I really hate making mistakes in diaries. It's a flaw in my perfectionist trait. So yes, we will be using a planner and hopefully this will conquer two little goals that I have in completing a planner and also sticking to my budget. Okay, enough of me waffling on. So inside, I purchased the monthly tracker. I hope you can see it. This monthly bills tracker allows you to put down your bills, and you can tick off when you've actually paid them off or paid towards them throughout the year. So I thought that was quite a good thing. And it also pulls out. Oh, it does. There you go. It also pulls out so you can remove it. Okay, so that brings me on to this page. So this is at the front of each month. So you can write down your goals. Well, it says something else there, but I put a sticker on and I'm just gonna put my goals down for the month of January. And I've also put down my social media information. That's really for you guys, but yeah, you can put whatever you want in there. I've also put down my balances and the minimum payments, just as a reminder for myself. So for January, my goal is obviously to create my zero-based budget, try and fulfill my emergency fund, so try and get that complete. And then start my debt snowball. And obviously the aim of the game is to save as much money as we can as well in the meantime, if possible. And then also I've got some more goals in the corner, which says to stick to budget, to carry out weekly check-ins, which I'll go into in a minute, and to be consistent, which is really the main gist of everything, isn't it, guys? So yeah, if you're consistent with things, then you tend to succeed. So that's the aim of the game. So the first thing you can see obviously is that this budget is only covering from December 20th until the 26th. So it's only covering just under a week, so 6 days, guys. The reason why I am doing this is because I do get paid numerous times throughout the month. So I get paid for my full-time job. I also get paid for tuition sessions that I carry out with other children after work. I also get paid for my son, so he pays towards his housekeeping. So yeah, I get various income coming into the home. So that's why it's easier, I find anyway, to budget weekly rather than. So as you can see, I've got my debts column, I've also got my bills, I've got my sinking funds, and then I've got various information here. But I'll go through each stage. Let's start with the debts column. So I'm going to zoom in just so you can see things a little bit clearer, and we'll start. So for my debt, I'm putting down the minimum payments that I will be paying out of the income that I have coming in this week. So let's put the income down first, actually. I've got £1,380 and 55 pence. So yeah, guys, always include all of your income, even down to the pennies. I know it sounds really petty, but it's really, really important. Add every penny into the budget, okay? So I've put my income down. Now let's start with the payments that I'm making towards debt. So I'm putting £2 this week, 25, 29. So some of these payments are one-off payments. So this is the payment that I'm making for the whole month, but others I have divided into 4 and I'll be paying them weekly, but you'll see how this budget will change on a weekly basis. So some of these are as I said, weekly payments. Some of these are the payment that I'll be making for each debt for the whole month. It'll become a lot clearer next week. Okay, so let's add these up. So I've got 20. Okay, so I've got 119.75. Okay, sounds about right. Okay, so let's go on to bills. I'm going to move this up, just checking that you can see. Okay, so bills, I've got my rent coming in. So in this column, guys, let me just explain. In this column, I am putting down all of my basic bills, so my basic necessities. So you may have a different list to mine, but these are the bills that come, or my expenses that come out of my account. And I've divided a lot of these into into weekly payments, but some of these are one-off payments. But as I said, it will be reflected in the next budget. You'll understand in the next budget. So this week I'm paying my rent, which is due. I will be paying tithe. So I pay 10% of my income weekly for tithe. So as you can see, 10% of that is 138. I've got £40 going to food. You may think, £40, how are you feeding your children on £40 a week? Trust me, I've actually reduced it, because when you're really, really focused on what you need and what you want, you'll see that a lot of food that you're buying is waste. So you may be buying just to fill your cupboard. You may be buying because you might fancy that product at a later date. This £40 is basically everything we will be consuming, using for this week. So £40 is enough for me. If you want me to maybe do a video and show you how I can live off £40 of food in a week, then put a comment in the comment box below. Okay, so £40 for food. We've got £20 for gas and electric. Let me just change something quickly. So £20 for gas and electric. Okay. And then we've got £20 for fuel. So usually I've got quite a big car. So usually I spend maybe about £50 a week on petrol. The reason why this is so low is because I'm planning to visit family this coming week. So I probably won't be using my car a lot. So that's why it's gone down this week, which is good. My insurance is £16.20. My daughter's canoe fees are £112. And then I've got TV and internet, which is £68. So before I go on, all the bills and debts that have an A next to it, that just means that it's on an auto payment, or direct debit as we call it in the UK. So it just means that I will not be taking out cash for each of these transactions. So I'll explain it as we go on, but yeah, the A just means auto payment. Okay, so let's add these up. So we've got rent, tithe, food, gas and electric, fuel, insurance, fees. Okay, and I've got 14642. That doesn't sound right. Let me do it again. Oh, didn't see the decimal place there. So it's, oh, see what I mean? Ah. Right, calm down, Fiend, calm down, calm down. First mistake. Okay, right, so, oh my gosh, do you see what I mean? But these things happen. I understand. Okay, so, yeah, so we've got £1,464.20 for bills. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. So I'm just going to move over to this section. Let me just check that you can see. So, okay, so here, before I go into sinking funds, let me just explain this section here. So we can see I've put down my debt. I've also put down my bills, okay? So because I knew this week, should I say, I wouldn't be getting a lot of pay, I'm going to be using the money that I had in my account before I got paid. So I had £311.46. So I'm putting my balance at the top there. And as you can see, I had a little bit of money left over. You might be thinking, well, why have you got that in your account? Why didn't you just pay some bills? Well, the reason why is because I knew I would need it going into this week. So I have left whatever was left over from last month's payment. So let's add these together first. So I've got, for debt, I've got 119.75, add 1464.20. Okay, so that gives me, make sure I check the decimal point this time. So 1583.95. So that's my total bills coming out. Okay, so let's add these together and then subtract this. So I've got 311.46, add 1380.55 equals that. Subtract 1583.95 will give me 108. So I'm left with 108.06 pounds. So £108.06. So let me explain what sinking funds are. They are irregular payments that you make towards mini savings. So for instance, I've got some birthdays coming up in the next couple of months. They are my children's birthdays and I know they're coming. So in order for me to have some money put aside for their presents or for their gifts, and so I don't obviously go into any further debt, I need to make sure that I'm putting aside money beforehand. So you can have a birthday fund, you can have a car maintenance fund. Obviously, if you're a car driver, you know that, or you may foresee that you have MOTs coming up, tax, maybe some repairs as well if you have a car that can be temperamental. So it's always a good idea to have some money put aside, which we class as sinking funds for these events, okay? Some months though, or especially in this case, you'll see that I probably won't be putting any money towards those funds just because we haven't got a lot of money left over, or some weeks, should I say. So this week we can see, we've only got £108 left over. So there is no point in me putting any money towards sinking funds because it isn't a priority. So I'm just going to put 0 for each of these. Okay, don't worry, my children will not go without any gifts. I'm sure that we'll have some money maybe next week or the week after to put into them. But as you can see, or as you know from my previous video, the goals are emergency fund, to try and allocate £500 for that first, and then debt snowball to begin that. Let's see. So I'm just going to put that £108 into my emergency fund. So plus 108. Ooh. £12.06. So that will bring my total emergency fund for now to 108.06. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Nothing to debt snowball this week. But as I said, these things do change. So you can't get hung up on what's happening on a weekly basis. Just be happy that you have money to pay your bills and you have got some money that you've put to one side in case any emergencies may happen. Okay, so now that I have put my bills down and my debts, I've created my zero-based budget, so I know where every pound, every penny is going for this week. We can now start to stuff our cash envelopes. So what I have found and what Dave Ramsey actually promotes is that in order for you to be successful with budgeting, it is best to have certain expenses that you pay for in cash. So it's a lot easier to swipe, or it's a lot easier to go contactless with your card, whereas handing over cash is quite hard for a lot of people, especially when you see what you have left over after you make that payment. So I have decided to start using cash envelopes. Sorry guys. So let's bring them out. So I've already taken out my money for this week, and I made up some of these envelopes. So as you can see, I've got food, utilities, I've got my fuel, I've got my tithe, birthdays, car maintenance, and canoeing, which is for my daughter's canoeing club. I made these little envelopes just because they should fit into my purse like this, and the ones that I obviously won't be carrying around all of them, but the ones that don't, they can be neatly put away somewhere as well. I've got food, utilities, fuel, tithe, birthdays, car maintenance, and canoeing. As you know already, these are my sinking funds, so we won't be using these today because we won't be putting anything in them, but for these four we will be. So I'm just going to put my money out in order. So I'm going to put them all together. Okay, and I've got a few coins as well to put here. Okay, so let's start. So from my budget sheet, I can see for tithe, I've got £138 to put in there. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and 20, 35, 38. I'm just going to put that inside here. Okay, that's done. And then I've got food. So I'm going to use 10s for this. Should I use 10? So 10, I've got £40 here for food. So that's going to go there. Then I've got my utilities, which is £20. And then I've got my fuel, which is going to be £20 for this week too. Okay. And that's about it, really. We've done our zero-based budget for this week, and we've also stuffed our cash envelopes. I hope this video was useful, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Have a good day, and I'll speak to you soon.